once again bouncing from this critical area of support, but is now flashing a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to, while Ethereum is still playing out this short-term signal, and this chart right here is about to flip. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 3-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still in the larger bullish trend on the larger time frames, also known as a bull market, as I've been saying basically every day since the price was actually below $20,000 nearly 1.5 years ago. And as I've also been saying over the last couple of weeks, we do have this hidden bullish divergence on the larger time frames, which is technically a trend continuation pattern for the larger bullish trend. But as I always say, it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. So even though I've remained bullish basically this entire time since the beginning of 2023 on the larger time frames, of course on smaller time frames, that can flip between bullish and bearish basically every single day. But ultimately, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, those short-term pullbacks and short-term pumps make up the larger bullish trend on the larger time frames. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin RSI, at least for now, despite the short-term pullback, this is still currently looking more bullish than bearish as we've seen in the past. And so once again, as I've been saying basically every day since the price was below $60,000, basically at this exact low right here, I started to flip much more bullish again on the price of Bitcoin when we're talking about the trend or the larger moves here in the price of Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And so over the last one day, not much has changed on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the DXY, what we're actually seeing right now is another short-term pullback, basically retracing that pump that we saw yesterday in the DXY. And so essentially what we've seen over the last 1 week approximately in the DXY is just choppy sideways price action, which is relatively neutral for Bitcoin. But ultimately, what we've seen over the last 1 month approximately is indeed lower highs and lower lows in the DXY, which is bullish for Bitcoin, as we've also seen over the last 1 month approximately since below $60,000. And so obviously, if that bearish trend continues in the DXY, if we continue to see a further pullback, then that would be a continued bullish signal for Bitcoin to pay attention to. But on the other hand, if we were to see a further bounce back to the upside, basically a bullish reversal in the DXY, then that would be more of a bearish reversal signal for Bitcoin. But at least as of right now, that has not really confirmed. And so once again, like I've been saying over and over again here on the channel, we're still currently looking more bullish than bearish in terms of the trend and the larger moves here on the larger timeframes for the price of Bitcoin. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we can see over the last 1 day, we just saw a perfect bounce again from this exact area of support sitting in between around 67,000 to 68,000. And so once again, like I've been saying basically every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, that is the area of support to pay attention to, at least for now. But if we were to see a confirmed break below 67,000, then in that case, obviously that would be more of a short-term bearish signal, potentially pointing towards a drop down towards this next area of support in between around 63 to 64,000. But obviously the price of Bitcoin has not yet confirmed to break below 67,000, so this is still the support to pay attention to. But like I've also been saying basically every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks, the price of Bitcoin is actually looking relatively neutral in the short term, as the price is basically in a choppy sideways price range in between this support and this resistance, which by the way, this area of resistance is still sitting in between 72,000 to 74,000. And obviously over the last 1 week approximately, we have been seeing a lot of choppy sideways price action exactly as expected, because once again, I've been saying that we're likely going to see this type of price action in the short term, and I've been saying that basically since around 1 week ago. And so at least for now, we're still looking relatively neutral just in the shorter term for the price of Bitcoin. But when we're zooming out on larger timeframes, that neutral price action is within the larger bullish trend. But if we're zooming into the much shorter term, looking at the 1 hour Bitcoin chart, what we've seen over the last 1 day is a new bullish divergence play out just in the short term, with lower lows in the price and higher lows in the 1 hour Bitcoin RSI. But since that bullish divergence played out, the 1 hour Bitcoin RSI actually just approached overbought territories and recently entered into overbought territories. And the last time we saw this happen, the last time a bullish divergence played out, and then we saw the RSI on the 1 hour time frame time enter into overbought territories. Obviously, that resulted in a bit of a short-term pullback over the next 1 day or so before we eventually resulted in this next short-term bullish divergence. And so just keep that in mind. There is still the possibility that we could see another dump or pullback over the next 1 day, with the RSI approaching overbought territories and just recently entering into overbought territories. But once again, this simply plays into the fact that we're just seeing choppy sideways price action in the shorter term, which is exactly what I've been saying we're likely going to see over the last 1 week or so, which is still playing out exactly as expected. And so basically, don't be surprised if we continue to see more short-term pumps and more short-term dumps, this type of price action that we've been seeing recently, because once again, this is what we're likely going to see moving forward. But believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But if you're wondering what my Bitcoin trading strategy is right now, I'm still currently in this Bitcoin long position. And so basically my trading strategy has not changed over the last 1 day. And in case you're new to the channel, the idea around this Bitcoin long position is to trade it as more of a swing trade, basically looking to catch the larger move to the upside on the larger timeframes, rather than trading every single individual pump and pullback. Obviously, if you're doing that, it is quite likely that you could end up losing money. And so instead, once again, I'm just sitting back on this long position that I entered at much lower prices, which I shared here on the channel when the price was below $60,000. I said that is the point to enter a long position. And so this is why it is important to subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I'm actually sharing these trading strategies that clearly work and are making a lot of easy money where you could potentially follow along if you want to. And if you also want to take trades just like this for yourself, then personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll actually take you to this page right here where there's currently a $1.5 million trading competition happening over on Bybit right now. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out to potentially win a share in 1.5 million USDT. And even if a trading competition isn't really your thing, just by trading crypto as well over on Bybit, there's currently a massive giveaway happening right now in the form of a lucky draw. And so once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, just by doing it on Bybit using the link down below this video, then you basically get entries into this lucky draw where you could potentially win up to $100,000 or some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or even a trip to an F1 race. And so once again, I'll leave a link to this down below this video. In fact, the trading competition will be the first link down below this video, and the lucky draw right here will be the second link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out to claim these extra free prices just by trading crypto using those links. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I will also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see over the last 1 day, we actually liquidated some positions to the upside, which was sitting at around 69,000 approximately. And we still have more liquidity sitting closer towards 70 to 71,000. But keep in mind, even with this short-term pump to the upside over the last 1 day, the price actually left a decent amount of liquidity to the downside, sitting at around 67.1k approximately. And so a potential scenario in the short term could be the price basically coming back down towards that area to liquidate those positions and then seeing another bounce back to the upside. Once again, more choppy sideways price action as a likely scenario in the short term, which is what I've been saying basically every day over the last 1 week. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now the breakout to the upside for this falling wedge is technically still active because we have not yet seen a confirmed break below the point of invalidation, which would be a break below around 3.2k. And so technically speaking, we still have a bullish price target at around 40.70 for this falling wedge. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour time frame, over the last one day, as I said yesterday, we saw that break to the downside below this Fibonacci level, and since then we've actually just retested that level, and so far we are finding resistance along that level, which is sitting at around 38.20. And so technically that is bearish price structure. When we break below an important level on the chart and flip it into new resistance, that is price structure heading in the bearish direction. And so at least for now, that is the resistance level to pay attention to in the short term, once again at 38.20, and the support is sitting in between this area, in between around 3.6k to 36.50, as we've seen here in the past, and also based on this golden pocket Fibonacci area. And so over the last one day, these levels on the chart have not really changed, and something similar can be said about this bearish divergence, which is still technically active here in the short term for the price of ETH. And so once again, like I've been saying over the last 3 to 4 days, since basically this exact high right here, I've been saying we're most likely going to see either a short-term pullback or at the very least some choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcomes just in the short term, as in over the next few days. And since I began saying that right around here, obviously we've been playing that out exactly as expected, and I continue to expect this bearish divergence to play out at least over the next one day, possibly over the next few days, especially if the RSI continues this bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows. But as this bearish divergence continues to play out here in the short term, if we continue to see this play out over the next few days or so, obviously at some points the RSI will approach oversold territories. And once the RSI on the 4-hour time frame starts reaching oversold territories, that will be the point where the bearish divergence is potentially approaching an end. But once again, at least as of right now, we're not there just yet. So technically we could still play out this bearish divergence just in the shorter term. And if we're taking a quick look at ETH BTC, this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, and right now Ethereum is experiencing a major rejection again from this critical descending line of resistance that we've been seeing as resistance for around 2 years now. And this line is sitting at approximately 0.0573 Bitcoin per Ethereum. And at least for now, we're currently experiencing another rejection from that line, which is important to pay attention to, because if we see a further rejection to the downside, obviously that would mean the potential continuation of this massive bearish trend. And so that's why I said recently here on the channel over the last 1 week or so, in order to become more confident that Ethereum is actually flipping much more bullish again against Bitcoin, we need to actually see a confirmed breakout above this line of resistance, and not only that, ideally a breakout above these previous highs to actually confirm a new higher high on the chart. And by the way, these previous highs are sitting at around 0.061 Bitcoin per Ethereum. And in case you're new to all of this, this chart basically shows Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which basically means if this chart is going to the downside, Ethereum is underperforming against Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is doing better than Ethereum. But if this chart is going to the upside, it means Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. And so this potential rejection alongside this bullish divergence on the weekly time frame is definitely something important to pay attention to for anyone that is interested in Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so as always, I'll be sure to keep you up to date on this chart right here in these videos. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, as I've been saying over the last few days, we're still chopping around sideways, looking relatively neutral just in the short term. And so as of right now, we're still finding support at around 160 and resistance in this price range in between 167 to 172. And so once again, as I've been saying since around here, we're most likely going to see some choppy sideways price action, which so far has been playing out exactly as expected. But if we actually see a confirmed break below 160, then in that case, I would expect a move potentially back down towards this area of support in between 140 to 144 if we confirm a break below 160. But on the other hand, if we continue to find support at 160 and we actually see a confirmed breakout above 172, then in that case, our next move is likely back up towards this area of resistance, sitting in between around 182 to 186. And this is not me saying that the price is either going to go up or down. This is me giving you price targets and signals to pay attention to. So for example, if we break below 160, that could be a potential signal to enter a short position to trade a move towards the next support, which would be the price target where we could potentially take profits for a short position. Or on the other hand, if we confirm a breakout above around 172, that could be a potential signal to enter a long position to trade a move to the upside. So it doesn't matter what direction the price goes, we can make money in either direction. We just need to know the entry point, so the signal, the break of a level, and we need to know the price target, the potential entry or take profit for the trade in either scenario. But we don't need to know the direction beforehand. We just need to wait for a signal to confirm. But obviously, like I've been saying once again, until we see a break of one of those levels, we're still looking relatively neutral here in the short term. So I'd most likely expect some more choppy sideways price action just in the short term. But believe it or not, choppy sideways price action just like this is actually a gold mine in crypto. You can make a lot of easy profits in price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then make sure to watch the video in the bottom left of your screen right now, because that video right there shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. And the video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.